Good morning, welcome back to another video with a guy and his projects, also known as New Road Auto LLC. We have the company name, we're working on cars now. YouTube, I think we're going to keep a guy and his projects. Maybe we change it, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down below. Right now, it's a guy and his projects, aka New Road Auto. Today we are working on a 2004 Ford F-150 and we are doing the front brakes. This truck is the one I bought at auction almost 2 years ago. I put an engine in it. I've done a ton of work, brand new suspension, brand new, a lot of stuff. And the one thing we haven't touched is brakes, and it needs them because we do a lot of shuddering when we're going downhill and braking softly. Rotors are warped and the pads are getting worn. The front's not so bad, but we're doing them anyway just to freshen everything up. We'll also be doing the rears on a separate video. Check that one out. Stay tuned, and we'll post it shortly here. Easy to do, not hard. We're just gonna switch out brake pads, calipers, rotors. We're gonna clean the calipers and the slide pins and all that stuff, and put it back together. Easy peasy. Before you get started, you do want to go in here, pop your hood. Oh! You're gonna pop your hood. You're gonna come to your brake fluid reservoir, and you're just gonna crack that lid loose and leave it there. This way, when you compress the piston, it's got room to move up. You might spill out if it's overly full, not to worry. Guys, I am using coated rotors because I live in the Rust Belt. New pads, I will link these down below in Amazon. Remember, if you click on my Amazon links and buy stuff, I make money. If you buy the stuff I link, I make money, and if you click on the stuff I link and buy something else, I also make money. So, moral of the story, click my links and buy lots of stuff. Gives me money. You spend the same. Your money doesn't change. You're spending the same. It just matters of whether I get a little tiny portion or if Amazon gets all of it. So click links, buy stuff. I have a lift, so I'm going to use the lift. This is very doable with a jack and a jack stand. You can do one tire at a time, no biggie. But I'm going to lift this up and we're going to get started. What you're looking at here is the caliper slide pin bolts. These are 13mm heads if I remember right, and we are going to go ahead and remove both of those. I was able to just use a wrench, but I have had this system off several times in the 2 years I've owned this truck, so I actually don't have anything seized together, which is a beautiful, wonderful thing. But get rid of those two 13mm bolts. Now I'm sticking a pry bar into the caliper. I don't typically do this, however, on the F-150s, this caliper is held on by the pads to a small extent, and the more space you can get out of the pistons right now, the better life is going to be for you. So what we're doing right now is we tried to compress the piston just a little bit. Now we're using the pry bar to pop the caliper off of the brake pads. The brake pads have indents, or extrusions rather, on the back of the pads that make this a lot more difficult than most brake systems. Why they decided to do that, I don't know, but that's what they decided to do, and pain in the butt. But it is doable. I'm using a really tiny pry bar here, by the way, as well, because that's what I had in my pocket. Bigger pry bar would make a lot quicker work of that. Once you can kind of pop it over those brake pads, just pull it off. Alright, now I know I just left the caliper hanging. Oh, by the way, yeah, these are those retainers, I guess you would call them. Caliper hanging by brake lines. If it's lightweight, I don't care. We can all get over that pretty quick. The heavier ones, sure, absolutely hang up, but these lightweight ones got nothing on them brake lines. Alright, pads come off. Mine are going to come off by hand, except this back one, little pry bar action. There you go. Saw the backing plate pop off. And then the brake slide hardware is going to come off. And now we're going to go for these 18mm caliper mounting brackets. Caliper bracket mounting bolts, whatever you want to call them. I don't know. This is early morning. I'm editing this video. Haven't had my coffee just yet. Sipping on it as we go. Those 18mm come off and boom, the rotor comes off. There was no slam with the hammer because I've had this off several times and I use anti-seize. However, if you have to bang on it, do what you got to do. You've seen me do that in other videos. I'm going to clean up this hub mounting surface just to make things nice and beautiful for the next go around. And now we're going to clean up the caliper. So the pistons, you do not want to damage the rubber on these. I'm just going for the surface, the parts of the caliper that actually touch the pads, including, well, this part right here just to get rid of dust. But right here on this back side, I'm going to clean that as well because that is also contacting the pads. This is my caliper spreader tool. Love it. I will link it down below on Amazon. Check it out. I make commissions when you guys buy stuff I link, so that is awesome. Even if you're not buying what I link, I make commissions if you click my link and then go add stuff to your cart and buy it. So caliper spreader, piston retractor, whatever you want to call it, I just stick it in there and it ratchets it back. Remember, make sure you have your reservoir up top open so that this fluid has somewhere to go. Other people like to crack the bleeder valve. That is great too. However you want to do it, the goal right now is to get the pistons set back inside the caliper. This will make room for your new pads. Kind of has to be done, so get her done. Okay, and I know the footage here kind of sucks. I didn't realize it was so bad when I was filming because you can't see what you're doing when you're filming, of course. But we're going to pull these slide pins out of the bracket. Sometimes it comes with the boots, sometimes they don't come with the boot. If your boot's going to rip, you need to go to the store, buy a new boot pin kit, whatever you want to call it. But I just pulled those pins out, and now I'm going to use a wire wheel and clean up the surface where our new hardware is going to mount, because you don't want rust under there because it'll make the pads a little hard to slide, and then you'll end up replacing pads and rotors prematurely again. Alright, these pins I'm just using brake clean. Sometimes you have to use a little emery cloth or Scotch-Brite pad to get the old grease off of. However you clean them, just get them clean. And you saw how easy my rotor came off. That's because I like to use anti-seize on the hub mounting surface. So that's what I'm doing here, just kind of painting it down. Now we're going to lube up the surfaces that touch the pad on the caliper. So that's going to be your two piston surfaces and then the bracket on the other side. Pretty much anything that touches the backing plates of the pads I like to lube up. Supposedly nowadays you don't necessarily have to do this because they've made anti-rattle pads and all that, but I still do. Same thing, going to grease up the caliper slide pins and put those back in the bracket. I'm going to mount my rotor, and now I'm going to mount the brake bracket, the brake caliper bracket, mounting bracket, whatever you want to call it, with those 18 mils. I will post the torque specs on the bottom of your screen that I was able to find online. Moral of the story, these go pretty freaking tight, so get them pretty freaking tight. Or if you got a torque wrench, torque them to specs and don't worry about it, which is nice. Alright, so your new brake pad hardware, this is where they slide. Again, you already cleaned out the bracket underneath them. These just kind of clip into place. These are pretty easy ones, for all things considered. Our pads are now going to go in. It doesn't matter if you do inside first, outside first, just get them in. Make sure they slide in nice and neatly. They should have some wiggle room so that they can slide back and forth. You're going to see in a second, ours have plenty of wiggle room. But get them in there. Try not to bend your hardware as you do it. Sometimes they don't want to go in, and you got to be careful there. Okay, so there's little tangs on the back of these things. I'm going to bend these in because when you put the spring clips in, your pads can pop out. That's not always the case. In fact, I rarely have to bend these tangs in, but mine were sliding around enough, the pads were sliding around enough that I deemed it worthwhile to go ahead and bend those tabs in. Alright, so these are the springs. So these help the pads to separate from the rotor when you're not applying brakes, which help to not burn out your brakes every 5 months, which is a fantastic thing. So get those guys in, upper and a lower, flip your caliper on, make sure your bleeder valve is on the high side of the caliper. And this is the fun part, because of those retainers that Ford wants to use on these pads with the caliper. The easiest way I have found to do this is to start either upper or lower, doesn't matter, I'm starting lower, and get that slide pin bolt in place, that little 13 millimeter. We're not going to tighten it, we're just going to get it in place to give us a hinge, something to hold things. and then just a little hammer action and it pops right over those pads pretty easy. And then we can go ahead and get that upper 13 millimeter bolt in there into that slide pin as well. Torque them to specs, hook up your brake lines and mount your tire. We're gonna be good to go. Guys, remember, I'm a little shop here trying to make it in the world. If you'd like to donate, video description below has links. If you'd like to buy things on Amazon and help me out, again, down there in the links. Remember guys, don't do anything that intimidates you to the point of fear, but also don't let fear run your life. If you're slightly nervous, just take it slow and easy, or take it to a shop, your choice. Nothing wrong with taking it to somebody else to take care of it. This is your brake fluid reservoir. Empty it if it's too full. Flush it if you'd like. All right guys, that is it. We just changed the front brakes, lubed the guide pins on the caliper. We put new rotors on, new pads on. It's a very easy process that you can do with the jack stand, not complicated. Check out the videos. I'm gonna go do the back. That'll be a different video coming up in a couple weeks, but I'm filming it today, but you guys don't wanna watch 2 brake videos in one day, do you? If you do, let me know. I can do that in the future. Anywho, don't forget to put your brake fluid reservoir back on, cap. If you are going to flush out your brake system or bleed it, go for it. A billion videos on YouTube about that. We're gonna keep this one to just the pads, rotors, and caliper pins. Remember, I will link all the parts and tools I use down below. If I forget something, let me know. Preferably, you know, when this video posts and not 3 years down the road, but I will see what I can do 3 years down the road too. You click on links, I make money. If you buy stuff that you click on or click on and go buy something else, I still make money, so do that. Also, donation and Zelle links down below. Guys, there's a ton of videos. We are well over 300 videos on the channel now. We're still growing. Comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Adios.